Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. It's here to stay. Oh, I did it with something. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. It's here to stay by Ms.E. Welcome back to my subscribers. Welcome to my new viewers. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I have a video. Leave a comment or a question below. This particular wig, I did use a lace frontal, okay? So if you watch my last few videos, I did not use a lace frontal, but the wigs basically look, as far as quality and style, they look pretty much, you know, the same. So just want you to get an idea of what you can do with different types of material as far as lace, 27 piece, very expensive hair, not so expensive hair. Just wanted to give you a variety. But as I said before, this wig speaks for herself. Kind of the little mushroom look, you know, pixie. Loving it, loving it. Profile. Nice. Yes. All right, I'm gonna stop talking so we can get into this video. All right, let's go. So right here, I am going to do what we call a cut lace method. I am going to cut the lace to the measurements of my head or my client head in this particular case. In this particular case, it's going to be my measurements, which is a 12-inch from ear to ear, and all lace closures or frontals are 13 inches, so we don't need the full 13 inches. We are going to cut a ½ inch off of each side, which is going to make this lace a 12-inch to customize to fit. So if you haven't watched my videos on how to make measurements and how to transfer measurements, please, I will leave the link below. Please make sure you watch those so that you can fully understand this particular method. So as you can see right now, I am using my crayon, and I am putting my ruler in the middle, which half of 12 is 6. That's the reason why you see me putting it in the middle part where the 6 is in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a ½ inch off of each side in order to make this a customized fit. So I am spraying it down with water because it just makes it so much more easier to cut those edges off. And I'm just going to go ahead and toss them once I have cut a ½ inch off of each side in order for me to have this 12-inch lace frontal. This is going to be a no glue, no ball cap method wig. All you have to do is put the wig on. It is going to be ready to wear when we are completely done. That's what I love about the cut lace method. So right here, I am going to bleach my knots. I'm using 30 volume developer. I'm using the BW2 bleach. I am mixing the two together, and I'm stirring it to make sure that it is a thick consistency. Now, you know how we do, just like it is when we're cooking, we don't measure, which we probably should. But however, I'm not measuring. I'm just going to make sure that it is a thicker consistency. And as you can see, it's a little too watery, or not to say watery, it's just a little, put it this way, it's not thick enough. So I had to add a little more bleach to the mixture. So now you can see it's really thick and pasty. You want to make sure that it goes on, that it's very pliable. But if you make it too runny, it is going to run onto the hair. You do not want this bleach to run onto the hair, because now you're going to have to, then you're going to have to recolor that hair, and that is very, very problematic. So make sure that your bleach is not runny. So what I'm going to do, this is what I prefer to do, is to turn my lace frontal right side up instead of upside down. I'm going to part it so I can watch it as it is processing. I'm going to let it process for about 20 minutes, but I'm going to part it so that I can see and watch it processing. When you turn it upside down, which is pretty much the typical way that people process their lace frontals, gravity tends to draw the bleach towards the hair. And again, we don't want any bleach on the hair. So I did shampoo out the bleach once it was done processed. I rinsed it out and shampooed it. Now I'm splitting my lace frontal in half. I creased it with my finger. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my crayon to give me a more visible marking so that I can center this lace frontal. I'm pulling my lace frontal a ½ inch to an inch below the edge of the cap, and I'm going to secure it with my T-pins in the middle. I'm going to secure the sides as well, and the middle, the back and the middle. You want to make sure that it is centered. As you see here, it is centered. You want to go ahead and secure that and secure your sides down. You want to hold it taut when you're pinning. You don't want it to be loose. So it's all done, and now we're going to proceed to sew. I am sewing the pieces or the side that I cut. I'm going to sew that first, and I'm going to sew my right side, and I'm going to sew all the way up into the middle. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to proceed to the other side and do the same thing from this side to the middle. Okay, so now sewing on the lace closure, lace frontal is done. Now I'm going to proceed with making my markings. As you can see, I am just following the ruler, the pattern, the pre-marked pattern that you see underneath the wig, and that helps me to stay consistent with every single wig that I make. When I first start in the nape area, I always make my measurements, my markings a ½ inch apart. As I get up halfway to the head, I'm going to take my measurements and I'm going to make them a whole inch apart. I don't need as much hair in the top as I do in the nape, and that is the reason why I am making them wider apart as I move up towards the crown. Okay, so now we are completely done with making our markings. And I'm going to go ahead with proceeding to putting my hair, sewing my hair onto the cap. This is hair that I ordered from my vendor, but it will be comparable to a 27 piece. They don't call it 27 piece, they call it bump hair. But it is the same as you would find in your beauty supply store as your 27 piece hair. I am starting with the smallest piece because these bump hairs are much larger than your 27 piece hair, so I can actually start with the smallest length of hair. I am going to transfer or add the hair onto the first marking that I just made, and after I do that, I'm going to continue up the head. I do backstitch when I first start making, sewing them on, and I also backstitch when I'm done. So right here, as you can see, I am cutting off the excess cap. The reason being is because it gets too bulky and complicated if you leave it on. It's really not necessary to wait till the end. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right now. I normally cut it off before I start sewing anything, but I forgot to do it. But I'm going to do it right now, no worries, and then we'll continue to sew the hair onto the cap. So as you can see, I'm halfway up. I did use pins because sometimes, for some reason, the hair starts to get a little lumpy as I sew it onto the track. It doesn't happen all the time, but when I see that happening, I always take my straight pins and I pin the hair down just to make sure when I'm sewing that I don't get any lumps or bumps. You can use this method if you choose to. If it's not necessary for you, you don't have to do it. So I did go ahead and after completely sewing the hair onto the cap, I shampooed it, I conditioned it, and I'm proceeding to cut it. I'm cutting the nape area with my peanut clippers. I'm holding the hair out. The hair is not sopping wet. You do not want to cut it when it's sopping wet. You just want it to be a little damp. Spray it down when necessary, when it's kind of hard to cut. I am going to also now proceed with cutting with my razor. I'm actually just shaping the nape area with the razor. I'm following the pre-marked markings that I have on my canvas head. As I said before, I'm going to leave a link below to the videos that show you the reason why I do this, how I did it, and all that good stuff. So I am putting layers in the back of the head, as you see right now. And I'm going ahead and I'm just kind of carving around the ear area. And now I'm doing the side. I'm pulling the hair straight out and I'm cutting it straight down with my razor. I already predetermined that I want to leave 2 inches on the side. Every now and then I may make it a little bit shorter. That is totally up to you how short you want it to be. But this is the particular technique that I use for the majority of my short pixie cut wigs. So I moved over to the other side. I'm clipping off the area where my sideburns would be because I don't want to come too short. So I save it for last. Again, holding the hair straight out, cutting it with my razor. As I said before, you can taper the side as short as you want. I usually leave 1 to 2 inches on the side, depending on the particular style or length that I want or my client prefers. And as you can see here, I am basically shaping my sideburns. I save that for last, of course. So I'm now going to finish up this haircut by cutting the crown area. I'm going to go ahead and just shape around the crown or the fringe area at this point. It's always good to cut it longer than what you desire, especially when it's wet, because it is going to shrink up. And also when you cut it long, you can always go back and cut it shorter, but once it's cut off, that's it. You cannot fix it once it's been cut too short. So just cut it a little bit longer than what you desire and then go back and make the necessary adjustments. So now I'm going to go ahead and just use some of the previous hair that I cut in the back as a guide to determine the length that I'm going to cut the crown top area, as you see here. And I'm just going ahead and making layers in the top crown. So now I am going to show you how I do plucking for my wigs. This is how I pluck every wig. I do minimal plucking because I always use an HD lace or a transparent lace. They are pre-plucked, so I only have to do minimal plucking. I am going to shape the recession, which is the area that everybody has a recession. They're all of our recessions are shaped differently, but you don't have to get it exactly like your particular shape or your client's particular shape. You just want it to look natural. So the recession is that area that kind of goes back farther. It's the area that's right above the temple. I am plucking that area right now. As you see, that is the recession area. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because you want to pluck more off in this area, because that is what it looks like naturally on everyone's head. The recession has less hair. So you want to go ahead and pluck this area a little bit more than you would pluck the rest of the hairline so that it looks natural. Nobody has a straight hairline. Everybody's hairline has a shape to it. So you want to kind of mimic what it looks like naturally. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed with plucking the sides. You don't want to pluck a whole lot because you want your lace frontals and closures to last a very long time. So you don't want to overdo plucking. So you want to do minimal plucking just in case your client wants to wear the hair going back or they want to expose that hairline. It looks natural. So pluck just enough for it to look natural. Okay, so we are all done with our plucking. And now I'm going to go ahead with cutting the lace. We're going to cut it in a zigzag motion, and just wanted to make sure, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Hit the like button, hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I have a video coming out. Please leave a comment or a question below, and I would love to hear from you. I will answer your question and respond to your comment as soon as possible. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking so forward to showing you another video, and I will see you in the next one.